right, the first very important thing about the new season is that mending machines have been nerfed. So this is a competitive match, and as you notice, as I click here, there is no longer an option to buy medkits or to buy big pots. If you play ranked or pubs, these are still here. However, in tournaments, this has been removed. So you can no longer buy a bunch of medkits and then just play the storm later on, which is, I mean, I've already played a tournament, spoiler, which we're going to talk about later. It makes it much more difficult to get medkits to play storm. Now, there's also special matics, which I don't know if they've been added, but they've been made much more reasonable. And as you can see here, there's chug splashes. So the stock is 3 of them and they're 500 gold, which sounds a little bit insane. Sounds like 500 gold would be incredibly difficult to get. However, gold has been buffed this season, but the big thing here is actually that the stock is 3. So in any high level tournament, you're basically never buying these ever because you can only buy 3. So last season, this is how much gold you would get from chests. So you would get 100, 50, or 75, and there was like a relatively even chance to get that. However, towards the end of the season here, if I go back here, you'll see they kind of changed it for, well, that gold event, was it Wild Week or whatever it was? So you could get 150, 200, or 300 gold from a normal chest. Now this season, have they changed it? That is the question. They have changed it. So the increased gold, it does seem to be intentional. So now it's going to be either 115, 95, 150, 75, or 300 gold you can get. And if you get any rare chests, you'll see there's a way higher chance of getting more gold from these as well. Overall, I think gold has just definitely been buffed. I played a few solo cash cup matches earlier and I had like 2,000 gold in multiple of them. So there is a large opportunity to go to these mending machines. But as I mentioned, you can't actually get as much from them. So you'll probably be buying chug jugs, which is the other thing you can get. And then obviously the chug splashes, which are there, but only if you're like the first team to get it. What this actually means is that the weapon omatics have been buffed slightly, because now say there's a gold shotgun in here and it's 1500. There's a much more likely chance you're gonna have 1500 gold left over because you're not just going to be buying a bunch of med kits and big. So, you know, technically these are a little bit more buffed. I would also say here that a lot of teams, if you're playing in storm, you can still use the patch ups. That's what it's called. It's still only 200 gold. So if you're going between mending machine to mending machine, you can still actually heal up quite a lot. See, for example, I just broke that there and this is giving me 350 gold, which is like already enough almost for 2 patch ups if I needed it. So you can also see you can get the chug jugs as well, 1,000 gold. And I've opened like this game, like 5-6 chests. I found a couple like cash dispensers, but you can see how much gold I've got. So like actually buying a chug jug is kind of likely, and there's 3 in stock, so there's chance you could like fill your inventory with 2 of them. So wherever you're near, it's definitely worth checking if you could get a chug jug from one of these. There's also 3 of these rifts on the map too. There's the one here where I am in the right side, there's another one over here in Squibbly, and then there's one up here in Frigid Fortress as well. And they're pretty decent, but they're not like amazing by any means. Let's see the distance that they actually go. So if I mark here and then hit the rift, so I'm just about landing now. And how far is that going to be? The map shows it's about 570 meters. So from here, that's like here. Basically, you could go to like Sandy in this area. So 550 meters is like basically to Sandy from here, you know, anywhere to the mid-map hills, kind of around here, which means that say if you've got like a max zone all the way over here, like one rift is, you know, it's really only going to take you about half of the way. So you can't just like play here and then just rift. It's a part of the strat, which I'll talk about later, which I found. But yeah, you can't just play this. And then saying this one's probably roughly the same distance, you know, it's kind of similar. You're going to get to like somewhere near the mid-map, maybe Squibbly. From these two, you could probably go one to the next one. Like if you're up here, you could probably rift to here. Let's see, 550, and then you could walk in, and then you could go like another rotate. So maybe teams in the north are going to have an advantage playing rift to rift. All right, so from this one near, what's it called? Frigid Fortress. If I hit this rift, let's see how far it'll take me. It does look like I could get pretty close to... Obviously, the problem is rifting, you know, you could easily get beamed out of the sky. The assault rifles and just the weapons generally this season are insanely strong. So what I'm telling you right now is using these rifts, for the most part, makes sense to do in storm, not like... at any other time, to be honest, because it's just going to be very easy to die. You see, because the terrain kind of pulls downhill from up there, you can actually get way further on this one. Like I'm already at 550 meters. I can almost get directly into this one. So you can kind of chain these two together, definitely. Also, this one has a bunch of fish that randomly spawn on it. As you can see, there's jellyfish up here. There's a shieldfish there. I'm not entirely sure, like, if they only can spawn a certain amount before you have to pick them up and then it stops spawning them or not, and then it'll keep... I don't know the specifics of if you can keep coming back to this. We'll check some of the tournament VODs after this. But yeah, you can get a bunch of fish from this area. And then, of course, I'm going to hit the rift here. Then you can see I'm landing all the way down. This is also kind of goes a little further because of the terrain, right? It's a little bit lower. So you can kind of just do like a full edge map rotation, right? From here, you just go here to here, and then here to here. Or sorry, where am I? Like here to here, and then here to kind of here. And there's also vending machines along the way if you kind of need to obviously get patch ups if you don't have med kits and stuff like that. So I definitely think like top of the map, or like even like top half here, has had a buff since you can kind of rotate to this rift. So, you know, if you've got a south zone. You can kind of get away from it. I was going to say a buff, but obviously they had this big hill that you could do this through the wingsuits last season already. This side's a little underwhelming because like you can use this rift and then you can go to this launch pad, but it's not really that far. Personally, replays looks fantastic because of this new marker system. I can definitely tell where anyone is on the minimap. Thanks for that. That's great. But as you can see, the kind of loadout I was playing, this is the first game. So I basically was doing a bunch of testing of different strategies to play through the storm to kind of see if you could maximize it like last time. And it's very, very difficult to play into the partial. So previously you'd play into like the 5th zone and you get into the center of that. That was like the entire meta for the last year plus. But now this is much more difficult purely because of the mobility items as well. So I'm basically just not playing storm early. Right? I'm just kind of playing this in camp mats, shotgun only right now. I was just testing this, whether or not this is like the best loadout, TBC, but I'm just testing for now. Playing storm, basically just chilling. And then once 5th zone's popped, in this game in particular, I only started to take storm in the 3rd zone because I rotated in there. So I have plenty to play from, right? I have like med kits, I have all this other kind of stuff, and this should be a pretty free rotate to like get into dead side here. And I found this zip line, right? Because I had an extra slot because I had got tagged up earlier. So in storm, right? You can see there's no one around. So you're relatively safe to use this, and this saves your like grenades. I say relatively safe. Wait until the next game, by the way. And then whilst on the zip line, because there's not really anyone playing storm, like look at the difference in this. I am the only person over here playing storm outside of this dude. I don't know what he's doing over there. Let me zoom out. Yeah, like what a stark difference this is in comparison to like last season where 50% of the people would be playing storm here. In this game, it's literally just me over here because they can't buy the med kits from the mending machines. So I'm up here chilling, using one out. Buy myself a, did I buy a patch up here? I can't remember. I bought a chug jug. Again, remember I have 1,000 gold. So now I have a chug jug. Like, look at my inventory right now. Like this is a game-winning match, game-winning loadout. Like I still have medkits. I can still like refarm a little bit because I got keyed in the middle of the game there. So I ended up having to use a bunch of my brick and I'm just absolutely chilling. Unfortunately, I do totally milk this. Like, this kid's here. I'm playing like 130 ping in this as well. So again, hit a couple blocks. I'm just like, I'll just chill. He'll be fine. And then he burst and just pumps me straight away before he can pop ball. Either way, I just milk and die. I got into 5th side dead zone, completely chilling. Now this game, I was trying basically the exact same thing. As you can see, I'm kind of in storm in this area here. However, this time there is a couple more people playing storm. These guys actually have medkits. This guy's fishing. Fishing might actually be good for that, I'll be honest. Because now you have a much higher chance of... Ooh, I never thought of that. I actually did think of that. I thought of that when I was doing my main channel video. I didn't think of that today though. It might make sense just to carry a pro fishing rod and just play the storm. And if you can't find medkits, just fish a bunch of floppers. I might try that tomorrow actually to see how good that is. Let's see if that's what everyone else is doing. This guy has bandages. This guy has 3 meds that he's managed to pick up. This guy's 1 med. So you can see like even the people that are in storm, like what's this guy? That's me. I have heals. Of course, I have heals. I'm like the most stacked, but I totally milk this game though. All right, so what was attempting to do this game is it's almost looking very similar to before. Like I'm over here. I was playing storm in 4th. Now it's a 2-tick and the 5th zone pulls here. That's pretty much exactly the same thing that happened in the previous game. I didn't expect this many people to be in storm because I did check and there wasn't anyone before. So I've used a couple of my nades and now I'm going to go back in through Sandy, which seems like a bit of a detour to go this way and then this way in, but it is not because I know you can most of the time get more of these grenades somewhere. So I was trying to like rotate through here and find some at the same time. I actually can't remember if I did or not, but I did manage to find the zipline gun again. So I pick it up and look, this is the same strat I just did in the previous game. I just assumed this would be fine, right? I was wrong. I think, is this guy looking at me? Someone's looking at me. There's like why are you sitting edge zone staring out into storm? I mean, I guess that is really obvious. I don't know if this guy got visual audio or not. Let me actually see. I guess he's just staring into storm the whole time. I don't know if he's like seen me earlier on. Yeah, he just spotted me. That's pretty unfortunate, I'll be honest. I was testing the strat, whether it's good or not, and then he just... Yeah, just kills me out, this guy. So, maybe not the best strat. Okay, this match, which I've skipped one, I actually won a match between this. I know I'm an absolute goat. I want to show slightly different ones. So you can see this zone pulls totally north. At this point, I'd realized that it's very, very difficult to get into the 5th zone. So with the zones pulling up early, I thought, okay, I'm not going to try and go into 5th zone. I'm going to try and get into 4th, like the one earlier. I've already got my med kits and stuff. As you can see, the loadout's looking kind of similar. This is where I went into the mending machine. I can't remember if I actually got anything good here. Let me see. Got the patch up. Yeah, patch up was going to waste the med kits. Did I get any chugs this game? I did manage to get 1 set of chugs and that was it. Okay, of course, because like these get bought out. I wonder if I maybe got another set. Did I? Okay, I did. Okay, so I got a camp chugs. Again, most people in the higher elo lobbies take these, so they were pretty much already gone. Then, because of in the sanctuary, you have these pads you can hit here, which send you up into the sky, which then gets you very close to the rift here. So, you know, I was talking about how good the rifts are earlier. Is this the one where there was a kid camping here? I can't remember if there's one. There was one match where there was a guy just like right on the rift as I was going to go there. I think that might have been one of the previous matches, actually. Oh, no, he's there. I don't know how I didn't see this kid. I'll be honest. He's on the complete opposite side. Oh, it's just blocked. Oh, you hit me there, and then I just riffed. So this is really early. Like, is this third zone? Yeah, this is third zone that's popped up right here. And I'm already, like, trying to get out of the storm and move into Sandy. So I pop a med, get some minis popped off as well. Extra big. There's a bunch of stuff I found here. So basically, I lost nothing because of that. This is also something I'd recommend doing. It's quite easy to find a lot more extra of the overdrive grenades. So I have 3 at this point, as you can see. Some arrow, that is. So what you can do is pick up ones, just throw one, and you can scroll wheel pick up the other one. So I'm still capped, right, at 4, but I can still move through the storm. So I still have, like, the overdrive effect. So I can still move much faster without actually having to waste any of the mobility items. So you can see, like, the path I'm taking now is because there's so little people playing Storm, I'm just, like, rotating all the way up this way, right? If I press 4, you can actually see me. There I am, right? So I'm here. I've kind of just rotated past. Everyone's going in because, again, most people aren't playing Storm. So I'm trying to wrap all the way around into the dead side up on here. So 4th zone is pulled, as you can see, and I am still in Storm. Who's this? There's another guy playing... This guy's got nothing. He dies, unsurprisingly. This guy, what's he got? He's got 3 meds. Denu's chilling. How does he do this game? Also does not do well. So yeah, a lot of the Storm players not particularly popping off. Outside of myself, of course, this match. Actually, I don't. This is also a bad game. All right, so you can see I have made it out on dead side here. There I am. All the way up. Remember, my drop spot is New Sanctuary. So by kind of just doing like an early rotate, using this riff, and then kind of rotating round in the storm where there's not that many players, you can kind of play like a classic dead side game, right? So I've kept away from like the vast majority of the congestion there. And now we can see where the 5th zone is going to pull. The RNG this game was unreal, by the way. Look at this. Max. So max 5th zone couldn't be worse. Like, imagine if I was like this guy or like these guys around here and I had like a rough rotate to make in. Like, you're gonna waste so many of your mats and stuff on this rotate because, again, there's no wingsuits, there's nothing. So basically what I do in this situation is just straight book it. I rotate this entire way. You can kind of just look at the line of sight, check who's around. This guy's gone in front of me. Everyone's kind of just rotating because, again, they don't want to use their shockwave. So everyone's just going by foot, which is pretty good. I'm just fast forwarding so you can see. Using line of sight, like cutting off here with the buildings. Trying not to get into a point where I can be seen from as many points possible. Literally didn't take a single lick of damage because I went to dead side and then was able to rotate into 5th. And then look at this next zone, by the way. This is an absolute stinker. Guess where it's going to pool? Gosh, absolutely max. But again, what I did here is I didn't go into all of the congestion. You can see I'm more up on this corner here. Like, I couldn't really get deeper because I didn't want to use any mobility, but I stayed away from all of this up here. Look how much freer all of this is to rotate through if you really need to here. So knowing that, because I'm such a genius, obviously, I hit a shockwave. I was looking, sorry, an overdrive. I need to keep calling that. Look at this. Thread the needle down, slide up, and I'm just literally running past everyone, right? There's these 2 kids next to me, but I'm basically cutting this line right here with a shockwave. So there's like these 2 kids. I've already gone in ahead of all of these other people. So I've literally rotated all the way in front of those already with a single overdrive nade. And now again, I'm trying to use the, what'd you call it? Line of sight. Those 2 guys were there. I don't know why they weren't shooting me. Quite frankly, if that was me, I'd be shooting this guy, who is myself. And then again, I felt totally fine. So I kept hugging this mountain to make sure I could get down and in. And there was a guy in front of me. So now I start to see it start to open up. So I got 27 hit there, and now I'm in. So I used a single overdrive with, and took, how much HP was that there? 27 HP. And now I made a max distance rotate. I did also forget to mention, I picked up a pistol whilst I would use the medkits to get out of the storm, which is something you can do. If you play dead side, there's always like some loot. So even if you're just playing shotgun, it's pretty easy to like pick up another weapon since, you know, there's a huge chance. Look at this next zone, by the way. Max. What a surprise. I've pulled 3 max zones in a row. But luckily, like, I'm still in a pretty good position, 108 builds, right? So this rotate, I wasn't really sure how to do. So my thinking here was the fact that I just don't want to be rotating by myself. Like, you don't want to rotate by yourself. It's kind of similar to when the wingsuit, like, if you just fly with a wingsuit through the sky and you're the only one there, you're going to get focused. So my theory here, I don't think this was a particularly good rotate, by the way, but I was like, right, my theory here is I'm just going to go when everyone else is. So that guy to the right of me went, so I went at the same time, tried to slide up, blocked my back with a ramp, accidentally fell in there, mantled into the trees. Not a great rotate, I will be honest. And now I noticed I'm in the open. I was like, okay, I'm in the open, people are here, so I'm just going to stagger a little. So I just boxed up. Little mat's wasted, but it is what it is. And now I'm staggering and I'm waiting for everyone else. So I'm going to use another overdrive nade in a second. But I was just sitting like thinking, like, what can I do here? And like spending some time rather than just running in the open is such a better idea. So now I was kind of scouting, trying to see where I could go. Second overdrive nade comes out. This is a bad play. I'm going to tell you right now. ADS pump 100. Crack this kid. And now I just box fought this horribly. I was hoping I'd be able to phase in there. I should have blocked my back, but I didn't. Big awareness here, by the way. As soon as I got sprayed in the back, I knew this guy was going to edit on me, so I just pumped him. Definitely should have. I should be dead here, okay? This is not a good play. But that guy was max refresh, so I'm taking that, right? And guess what? We pull another max zone. Yet again, another max zone. So I had 4 in a row. This is absolutely brutal. Well, at least I got good mats here, right? I totally milked this game. I want to make that a preface from here. Still have 2 shockwave nades left. Overdrive nades. I got to call them that. So despite like the kind of milkiness at the end there, while I got into a horrible fight, didn't cover myself, I should like ramp over my head and ramp phased into his box rather than trying to just walk through. Rather than that, I think the timings of those rotates were pretty good. Like I staggered that second one. I did have to use 2 overdrive nades, and the ones before that, like I'd used barely any materials. So I think like making sure you're aware of dead side and like shock and overdriving around that way is really useful. So here, similar thing. I tried to just find a place I can like cut off some line of sight. So here, I probably should have gone further to the front, and then I saw this old box. I thought, okay, I can kind of sit in here, try and shoot someone in the back. I can't believe I didn't see this guy, by the way. I could not see him at all. He held this. I was like, oh my god, there's still someone in here. I was just kind of, I definitely shouldn't have done this. This was bad. Took some walls over the top, covered my top, used another overdrive. I probably didn't need to here. Now the goal here was to go up onto a higher layer, and that guy lasered me. Oh my goodness. So made my way to get up. Still have 100 builds to this point. So like at this point, like you just got like a lot of the end game is just tarping, quite frankly, and like choosing good layers to sprint on and good staggers and things like that, which I'll be honest, I'm awful at. As you can see, I completely milked this game, even though I still have 100 builds. But 100 builds at 8th zone, like I'm sure there's not many other players of that. 6, 70, 70, 37, 74, 54, 37, 41, 116. Who's this little go? Tycho. That guy's chilling. 78, 94, 84, 86, 20, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. So yeah, I have 90. I have the most mats in the whole game. I have the whole best mats outside of this guy. So like I played, oh yeah, 2 and this guy, and Sleepy has another one. So I have the 3rd best mats out of everyone in this lobby because of that mid game. Obviously the refresh definitely helped. Unfortunately, I don't have any nades. So like I'm still really well set up. So I think, you know, you've got to get more used to being scuffed at this point in the game. Like the matches just aren't as long. Yeah, and then honestly, I don't know what the hell I was doing here. I jumped into this guy's box. I still have 70 builds. I ended up falling down into a layer, miss my pump, and then die. This guy's got 4 HP, and I just died of storm. So yeah, I just totally milked the end of it. But the whole point of that was more about like storm playing, and then the mid game rotates itself. Side note, it's funny that the opens has got 3 French players at the top of it. For Middle East. This is all just like EU players. What's going on with the Middle East players? Are they not on right now? Is it too early, maybe? All right, let's still watching my rubbish gameplay. I was just kind of trying to figure out some stuff in the mid game. Hopefully that's very, very useful. Let's look at some actual pro matches from the performance eval last night and see what like weapons the pros are carrying and strats they're actually doing. All right, let's kind of quick fire through what loadouts people are using. So one thing I've noticed was, I mean, the main question is going to be AR and then which shotgun I'm using. Unsurprisingly, most people are probably going to use I've been calling it the Banginator. What's that? The Chaos Reloader. That's what it's actually called, because it's just so easy to hit like massive damage with this. So it just skipped through the lobby. Same on who's I8. I shouldn't know. I mean, holy smokes! I can't believe how many people are just using the same stuff. I thought at least one player in the team would be using like a burst SMG. It seems like just everyone is using the Nemesis. Ball Nor with the Thunder or Thunder. Basically everyone using the shotgun. Some pistol. Okay. I mean, it's basically kind of a 50-50 between which AR players are using. Quite a few people are using the pistol. I actually think the pistol is really good. I maybe underestimated how good it was when I did my video ranking it. I put it in early game only, but I think, to be honest, it is actually an insane hit, particularly in these higher rarities. All right, let's look at the map of spawn. What do we have? How many teams looking at it? Of course, in the new drop swap Frigid. Oh, we've got D-Mission Darm going there. Akira's team is also looking to land there. Squibbly Shores is by far one of the best POIs. Maybe iDrop and Marius just knew that this was going to change last season to like one of the best drop spots. If we look in the inventory, there's got to be some fish somewhere. iDrop somehow has nothing. How have you got a completely empty loadout? Is that just bugged? Surely not. Either way, there's a bunch of fish that spawn in this area, as we kind of mentioned earlier, and there's also conveyor belt in here that has a bunch of fish on it too. So leaving here, you can have like completely stacked in shield fish. Yeah, there we go. You can see Marius getting them now. Shield fish, slurp fish, whole bunch of other that basically no other team has access to. I don't know if the Midas Flopper can spawn here in competitive, but that's the one that turns all your items to gold. Now, iDrop has dropped, as the name suggests, all of his loot up on this base that he created up above, drop back down into, and unsurprisingly, like I mentioned, all of these vending machines are going to be purchased out of Chug Splashes. Like the amount of teams that are going to be carrying Chug Splashes is going to be insane. Like Marius has some. I think he got those off spawn. I don't know if he looted those. I don't know if there's actually a mending machine in Squibbly. Let me check. No, there isn't. So he just looted and got 6, I would imagine, off spawn. And then they've bought out this vending machine as well. So basically every one of these vending machines, now if you're landing on them, great, because you have the opportunity to actually get like 6 splashes or chugs. Sorry, six splashes or a chug jug. But if you're going to rotate past them later, like all the good teams in the lobby are just going to completely buy out all of these. Like there's no way there's going to be anything left at all. So I would say if you zoom out, all of these drop spots have definitely had like a pretty big buff because they're going to give you, well, because of the gold, because you're getting like some of the best heals in the game almost guaranteed. You can see Ping as well. I think from his drop spot, yeah, they got chug jug. So absolutely stacked. I would imagine they've got two chug jugs. So I don't know if Walk's also found one, but they're basically like completely stacked on some of the best heals. Walk's also fishing this game. One thing I never thought about with the harpoon that when I was playing a game of ranked, I noticed is that the visual audio on it is so far. Like it actually goes so unbelievably far. Because a guy was fishing around me. I was like, what's that sound? Who's fighting? And then I realized it was just a guy using the using that. So yeah, probably wouldn't like fishing with it. If there's guys around you, would not recommend. He also just fished there and then picked up none of it. So, you know, I don't know how valuable a lot of that is going to be if you fish in your drop spot, because most players are just going to carry like the heals that are already so stacked for them. Chug splashes, chug jug. Obviously everyone's carrying nades, and then also the chug splat. What did I say? Fizz nades. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, something really important is that these games die out so fast. This is the final moving zone, and we're down to 5 people. So there's almost zero chance of a heal off this game. Like this guy Keelba right here is going back into Storm, healing off with a chug jug, but there's still like a minute left of moving zones. It's just literally not going to happen. So again, looking at this 5th zone, very minimal teams playing Storm. So like even in duos in the highest level, like you're just not having the same amount of Storm play that we've seen in most other seasons. Wow, what a beam. Holy. Like, there's a reason I put this gun in the broken AF tier. Like, the best players in the world with this are so crazy. Like, I think there was like a double headshot 80. They just instantly hit onto tarps. Let's see. Let's go in slow-mo here. Because Flixie also hit some shots at the same time. They're peeking. He comes in from Storm. 43, 43, and a 20 from Chap. So it's like 100 in a single burst. That is unbelievable. And then they just have a free kill backside. I mean, no offense to Jay Booker, but I'm sorry. I just ain't winning this. Yeah, sprayed. He's hit 60 already. The body's already out. Yeah, Flixie's just in. Both of them dead. And now they've got a refresh in the backside, plus Siphon. And they've got 2 medkits to play right now as well. But it's about to be 5 tick, is it? I love how the zones are all bugged in replays. It just says 0 at this point, so I'm not entirely sure. It is... Yeah, it's about to be a 5 tick. Yeah, so they have 2 medkits they can play. So a well-timed refresh to keep them totally capped. Now 6th zone. Okay, now it works. So when the zones change, that's interesting. Interesting indeed. They look like they don't know what they're doing. I'll be honest. They look slightly lost. They have 2 slurp fish that they've thrown. I guess Jake Booker's team was fishing. They use one of the nades. So they're actually going to fizz nades. They use like a full heal of the fizz grenade to give them the extra distance and the mobility. I mean, that is a far rotate. It's obviously you're using a full, a full fizz nade and then also a normal overdrive grenade too. So it's a lot to invest in like a single rotate, but it does get them in. They had to use a ton though. Their splashes and that fizz nade. So in terms of shield, they really don't have that much left just because of the fact they had to play Storm for so long. So Storm definitely nerfed a lot. Ooh, Sky and Scrolls got absolutely packed in by Thomas HD, but they've managed to grab all the loot from it. So I think one thing that's going to be really important in this meta is because you have to tarp so much in endgame, getting a refresh at like 6th zone in stacked duos. Like at this point, for example, right, they win this game, they immediately have all these extra materials that they can tarp into dead side and then just run around with, right? Obviously, they've got nades and all that kind of stuff as well. But similar to the way I did in that really crappy solo cash cup game I played, like by getting a refresh just before moving zones, I mean, you're just set up for success straight away with the amount of mats. Like, let's see the mats of everyone else. Akira's 126. They also did really good in this event. What we got? 150, 123, 22. Not looking good for Xenox. 133 for Yapko. I guess a lot of teams actually still do have quite a lot of mats at this point. Maybe a little bit later you might need to get one now that I'm looking through them. 64. Yeah, they're basically one of the only teams with completely capped mats. But a lot of teams do still have materials at this point. All right, Zone's going to pull where? Pulls back to them, so okay, not much to worry about there. All right, Zone then pulls Max, and again, what they've done here is very simple. I mean, me, Flixie, I mean, we're both like of equal level of IGL, right? There they tarped using those extra mats again back into this zone, and then he's about to shockwave again around the dead side here. So again, very good understanding. Hits the shockwave, literally no one there, so it's just opened, and you get the freeze rotate using a single nade. I mean, they're each individually using one, so they've used like 2 total there, which probably isn't the worst idea, but you can do ways where you can both shockwave that. Just honestly, from using shockwaves in the past, it's so easy for one person to mess up, like if you just throw it and have both of your teammates rotating. So honestly, like both using one at the same time isn't the worst idea there. All right, similarly again, they're both individually using one at this point to get themselves into 8th zone, sliding across the top. So easy to get beamed by other teams in this point. They're currently in one of the areas with the rifts. I wonder if anyone's going to be rifting above their head. That's kind of funny. All right, same thing. Zone pulls Max. They're very interesting. They threw the nade inside the box not to actually push them anywhere, so they intentionally didn't like like actually want to fly with it there. They're just using it for the increased speed. And then they jump, ramp, slide. Oh, the tarp that goes crazy. Kind of leaving chat behind, I'll be honest. He's milking this cone edit. Oh no, someone else. I was gonna say. Oh. Okay, Flixie needs a little practice with the overdrive movement mechanic, it seems like. But, very importantly, he ramped himself up. So he layered himself up and away from everyone. You don't want to be stuck on low layers of these overdrive grenades, because then you're just going to throw them and go nowhere and get stuck with a bunch of people doing nothing. But now they've managed to elevate themselves up. And also early height takes. So you see there, they looked up. Like, Flixie looked up and saw there was a team fighting for height at the backside, which is Maris' team now. Just ramp in the front in 9th zone. Like, this kind of early height take is so good. Because you've got to think everyone here has, like, minimal materials. They've wasted so many on these rotates already. Everyone has to tarp so many zones with this that then at the point, like, if you've got good mats and you see like height free, you can just go and take it super early. Like, I did the mats check before. They're on 68 and 75, so they have basically like 150 builds total or something. Look at the rest of the lobby. Like, there's some people like Hellfire's chilling as a solo right now, but most other people are now way far below. Like I said, these games die out really fast, so like early height is going to be so unbelievably strong this season. And I think also this is just a meta for fraggers. Like, if you can get refreshes, if you've got insane good aim and you can take advantage of that while people are using the overdrive grenades, you can wipe them out early. I think you're going to be insanely good. Like, this could be a really good season for guys like Flixie Chap, Peter Balpoyo, guys who just like can frag in that early moving zones, get a refresh, and then just like psycho take height and just win the match. So yeah, end of first moving, there's already like 21 people up only. Very low. You know, we're used to seeing end games being insanely long last season. I actually think, honestly, it felt like end games were almost too long last season. Felt like they just went on forever because everyone just had infinite mats with the infinite mats and HP because of the nades and the wingsuits. One thing I'd definitely recommend is actually practicing this season's mobility. So in the aim section of my map, go into the realistic range. And in here, we've got Chapter 7 Season 2 movement. So in this, we've got like zip lines. As you can see, players flying up here. And down low here, we've also got these players who are potentially using these shockwave nades, right? So as you can see, the shockwave nades are flying, pushing them over. So you can actually practice like trying to aim train and beam people as they're rotating. Or you can beam people here as they're flying up and going across here. Oh my god, my aim is crazy. And then they'll glider redeploy afterwards to cook that. There's going to be some more mobility items this season, so we're going to make sure to add this in here, so go for that. You can also go into the free build section and then also take some overdrive grenades. So it's actually a good way to kind of practice the mobility with them. So like, you can practice tarping with the increased movement speed like this. Man, I'm crazy, I'm flying, oh my god, the DX12 got me moving like nuts. Yeah, so you can do that too. So highly would recommend search Reisshub to go for this map. Like the video, subscribe, peace.